Yo, what's up? This is Splendid Radio on Pharcyde TV with my co-host Jeremy Scipio.
What's going on, people?
And guest for tonight, Mr. Nick Perdue. How you doing, Nick?
What's up, man? I'm good. You know, Tuesday.
Yeah, that's tight. First of all, before we hop into the interview, man, yeah, man, I haven't had a drink during the Splendid podcast for man, it's been several months, man. Not that I was taking it to the max,
really?
But yeah, I ain't had a drink. I mean, yeah. But if I was to have a drink, I'd raise a toast to Mr. Scipio, man. You know what I'm saying?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
No idea. The blaze right now, Jeremy. We know the streets.
I have no idea what you're talking about, guys. It's I have no idea. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. but when I do have a beverage, man, I'm gonna raise it to you, man.
No, I appreciate that. It's a new day.
Oh yeah, man. We need that energy in the family. So Mr. Perdue, man, I appreciate you coming onto the platform once again. Basically, if Jeremy kind of explained it to you, we go into a little bit of comedy, a little bit of hip hop, and then pretty much like your story, not the story as of today, but like how you became who you are right now. So to kind of jump it off, where were you the first time you heard hip hop, and what was the song?
Oof. Where was I? I don't remember exactly where I was, but it was probably, if I had to guess, it was probably at one of my friends' houses. His name is Brandon. And I want to say it was the Ice Cube song. Maybe Friday. I feel like that may have been the first song that I heard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's your first hip hop song? That's interesting.
We've heard a lot, man. We've definitely heard a lot, and that I'll say, you know, that is something. But you know what? For me, I'm probably, you know, I'm definitely, you know, a little older than you, but hip hop was like such a big deal. Like literally when we heard it for the very first, and you know, it was probably Rapper's Delight, the first hip hop that I heard, but it was kind of, I guess, the slickness of wordplay along with the, I guess, kind of like the grown up old school rhythm, but like done in a new style way that just kind of got me, and I was pretty much hooked. So let me rephrase the question for you. When was the first time you heard hip hop and you were like, dang?
Well, so okay, because like I grew up on like oldies, right? So like my mother just kept me on oldies, like K Earth 101, because I was born and raised in Los Angeles, so that was kind of like the big oldie station. So you know, it was like still like a lot of urban music, but it was, you know, just like doo-wop or whatever. But the first song that I think really kind of like hit me, I was like, oh my god, this is dope. And I think it was just because I was such a fan of his, but was Will Smith. And
oh snap! What song?
It would have to be probably Summertime. But once I also heard the full, like the actual Fresh Prince song, like that, you know, like the version of it, I was like, oh,
was it drinking orange juice out of champagne glass?
Yeah. Like,
wow, first class.
And then I pleaded with her, and it was like, okay, all right, Willard Smith.
That's fun fact. That's his actual. Yeah, his name is Willard. His real name is not. It's not William. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Actually accurate. What's that? Yeah, I was about to say, because Friday, that wasn't even like the best song on that soundtrack, like at all. Like it was not like the best song on that soundtrack was "Keep the Heads Ringing." Ring ding dong, ring ding ding, keep the heads ringing. Yeah. That was hard. Friday was whack, but Will Smith. I actually got it more into, sadly, I got into the Will Smith persona, the getting jiggy with it and all that. The Fresh Prince was a tad too old for me, but right there.
Knock it off.
Yeah, I was born 88.
You watched the show though, right?
Yeah, you watched the show, but I'm talking about the Fresh Prince persona. That dude was
dope.
Dead. That dude was dead by the time I was,
okay.
He abandoned Fresh Prince.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So I'll say this. Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff had a song called A Brand New Funk.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't what Run DMC was as far as the innovation of hip hop and style and the DJ cutting and everything, but A Brand New Funk was okay. So first of all, Will Smith, not because of the Fresh Prince, because this predated Fresh Prince and all that kind of stuff, but he was like one of the first rappers, I guess, to kind of follow Run DMC a little bit on MTV. So to see the video and the video he was performing in front of, it wasn't a stadium, but just imagine like a huge arena, type of thing going on.
Yeah.
And to see a rapper perform in front of that many people, for me, and I was probably 16, maybe 16, mm-hmm. It's had to be like maybe like 87, 86, 87, 86, like to see that,
mm-hmm.
I felt the same way that I felt when I was in my, I won't say when, but I'll say I didn't get Rage Against Machine. Like I didn't get them. Like I wasn't really around anyone who listened to their music too much or whatever. But I remember seeing a video and they were performing at like Dodger Stadium or some huge type of thing. And
mm-hmm.
when I saw them rock that many people, then that made me kind of opened me up to just like dang, maybe I'm not hearing it right, or maybe I'm not, I'm just not exposed to what they're doing. And then after that, I became a fan. But like with Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff, it was kind of the same thing, because it was like you see this video and you see a rapper and a DJ, and then they were dancing. They had like dudes were dancing and whatnot. And you have all this stuff going on, and it's kind of like, oh, but yeah, man, I wish you had that experience, man.
Yeah, I mean, now I'm gonna have to go like look for this video, to
mm-hmm.
watch it and see if I can capture that. But
mm-hmm.
I will say though that listening to you talk, I do remember, and I hate to say this. I mean, I love to say this, but MC Hammer was actually the first like rapper and like not CD, but like tape. You know what I mean?
Hey,
like,
yeah, bro.
I would just play this thing and be dancing, thinking I had parachute pants in my room.
Hey.
And it was like, I'm like, okay, this is something that I can maybe get into. But I had no idea that, rap was like, because he was like clean essentially. And like, I had no idea, even though he was like a complete badass. But
he got omitted from the hip hop. This is the Hall of Fame. Like nobody brings him up. That sucks, bro. He was the guy.
Legend.
But you understand why, right?
Technically, no.
Yeah,
he had the crown.
I'm explaining it to you. For whatever reason, it's kind of like you have this thing that people pick on, and there's no true justification for it. Not even warranted for the most part. But Hammer was just that artist that people just went hard on, man. And man, he just got a horrible rap. Just he was just that guy. He was just that guy. Yeah. Like imagine being in high school and there's just somebody in the class, they just get picked on just because, and they don't warrant it, and probably a cool dude or a cool chick, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But they just got to take that. Hammer to hip hop was that artist that just had to, because people it's a trip. I've watched interviews on MC Search from Third Base, and it was like he was like, man, I came out to the West Coast and I wanted to battle him, And I was like, yo, Hammer, you know what I'm saying? And then Hammer wouldn't battle him. And so then because Hammer wouldn't battle him, then it's just kind of, you know what I'm saying? It was kind of like this back and forth banter or whatever. But then what Search didn't understand was like, man, MC Hammer was making a lot of money when he was making money, dude. He ain't worried about battling nobody, dude. He's got private planes, you know what I'm saying? Back when it wasn't cool to have a private jets and stuff like that, MC Hammer was having private jets, racehorses. You know what I'm saying? He was having all this.
MC Hammer had an action figure that I had. My mother found it and I got it for Christmas, and I had an MC Hammer action figure. I have no
First of all, you're lying. You're lying. You know, no. It was not an action figure. It was a Barbie doll, bro.
I mean, okay, whatever.
It was a Barbie doll, an MC Hammer Barbie doll. And I know you're lying because I had it too.
Right, but I mean, like, no other rapper, maybe like 6ix9ine or somebody, but no other rapper had an action figure or a Barbie doll or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's
you're
how
right.
it was. So it's like, I don't care about Search.
Bro.
I'm in Kmart.
He had cereal. He had a cartoon.
That's right.
He was a cultural phenomenon. He got so big. I think the closest to him would be what Designer was when he for that week.
He had a run. He had a run.
Hot. Oh
man.
Next question. Did you ever think hip hop would take it this far?
No, but well, yes and no. You know, because we had a low there for a minute in the early 2000s with a bunch of those no-name groups that again will remain nameless. But you know, we're in the early 2020s and you have mumble rap. So, you know, what do I know? But no, I didn't think hip hop would go this far. But then you have people like Jay-Z and what Lil Wayne was doing, really pushing the culture. So like, okay, this thing is here to stay. And then once you really saw people like Paris Hilton and Kim Kardashians and like big pop type people really embracing the culture, then I'm like, okay, this is like going anywhere.
I'm not gonna belabor you with a story I've told a million times, but I'm gonna give you the condensed version.
Okay.
When you listen to the new music, don't listen for a dope MC, dope singer, dope beat, dope lyrics. Just try to find one out of the four, and you'll probably start to, you know, it'll become more palatable to you.
Right. Yeah. I mean, some songs have dope beats, you know, and I'm like, I don't want to put it on mute, but you know, you want to just let me find the instrumental so I can play that in the car. I don't need your terrible lyrics.
I think we got enough to go around it. I mean, there's some I use the word new loosely, but there's some dope new artists that I think, you know, if you're looking for, it's out here. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So
right. There are some people who can rap, and I'm just upset that, you know, because like we all thought that we could be rappers, and there are some artists prove that. They're like, oh wow, maybe I could have been.
Remember when what's his name? I can't think of his name. The gold all on my chain, gold on my watch.
But you know, he's transitioned and he's pivoted and he's hosting podcasts and
like Trinidad James.
Trinidad James, yeah. I just remember people was mad at him because he only been rapping for 10 months before he blew up. Everybody was pissed.
I saw his Drink Champs interview. He was a smart dude, and there was more to him than that. And he just got sucked into the vortex of the music industry for the most part. You know what I'm saying? And so it's kind of like one of those things of where you really didn't pay your dues, and you got pulled into this thing, and it was generating, you know, revenue. And it's kind of like, man, you just really don't have a say. Like, you know, you know, not until if you can last some of the journey, then you can, eventually kind of get your say and have a voice. But the way that he was ushered into the industry, he just wasn't able to have a voice. And he wanted to have a voice, but he just wasn't able to have a voice. Therefore, his career, it kind of did what it did.
And James?
Yeah.
He didn't need a voice. He's not interesting.
Nah, he did. Because that's all. That's
maybe we talking about a different. We must be talking about different
no,
there, James.
The
dude, I mean, he literally, the song was gold all on my chain, gold on my watch.
But
Don't believe me, just watch.
But,
nigga. That's the song. he offered exactly what we needed.
Was it him, you know what I mean, for making the song so simple, or was it society for blowing that song up and making it a platinum record?
It was the record company and some A&Rs and them getting him into a studio and them saying, yo, use this recipe. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, this is a, like, man, he was more famous than a lot of people, man.
True.
And even though people, talked about, the quirkiness or just whatever, man, he was there, man. He was there. He reached the plateau. So beyond Trinidad James,
real quick, just because we have a comment section that's actually chiming in. Real quick, Nick, what old school artists? Because you mentioned Will Smith, but what other old school artists that when you said that you were more in the old school? Just real quick, and we can move on.
I mean, like hip hop or like
hip hop. Because you said you really more in the old school.
Well, yeah. Then we went to. I grew up on oldies, so like the Smokey Robinsons, the Stevie Wonders, the Temptations, the OJs, the Gladys Knight and the Pips. You know what I mean? Like that's stuff that I grew up with. The Teddy Pendergrass. You know what I mean? The Otis Reddings, like stuff like that. Like Aretha Franklin, like classics, stuff that like that's what I grew up on. And some hip hop, which was the MC Hammers and then the Will Smith, and then it eventually got into the gangster rap, and I was like, "Oh, what is this? Yay! Okay."
They kept you away from that foolishness, young man, so you could be the writer you are and be exactly who you are now, and your imagination could take you to those places. And you necessarily didn't need the rough stories of the rough gangster tales of Los Angeles.
I mean, yeah, true. But like as I listen to it now, like NWA albums, I'm like, yo, like this is dope, and if I heard it when I was younger, it probably would have shaped me a little differently. But
absolutely.
It also, I think, would have just added, just like a little extra flavor because, I feel like I had great foundations with the old school and with, like what a lot of these hip hop songs take samples from.
Right, absolutely.
I'll say from one of my favorite Gucci Mane clips they got going on right now. You know what I'm saying? You could have some sauce, but you could get lost in the sauce. If you get lost in the sauce.
Another wise person whose voice got cut off that we needed to hear from. Definitely need to hear some wisdom from a Gucci Mane.
I mean, like he's another one who came out as one type of artist, one thing, went to jail, came back a completely different person, reformed. He's in shape, great love life, kids having a good time, like he's living life, having, so I'm like, look, man, I love it. Yeah.
He I'm glad he went to jail. What's the next question? What? I'm glad he came out better. What? I hate when they do the whole like they'd be like somebody go to jail, be like free this person, like free Gucci, and I'm like, you know what? Let them do their time. You know what I mean? Let's not free everybody. This ain't Nelson Mandela we talking about. Like, do your time, Gucci. Do your time, Lil Wayne. Do your time, T.I. Do your time.
That reminds me of Bobby Shmurda his hit.
Another one. I'm glad he did a sound.
I'm like, yo, this song is a smash. And people are like, free Bobby, free Bobby. And I was like, yeah, free Bobby. And then I looked up the reason and I'm like, okay, well, maybe let him do a little time, you know, let us miss him. And now he's out doing his thing, having a great time. You know what I mean? So, but again,
yeah, I mean, not making music, but that's cool. Not making music. He's another hit. I think we're covering a good range of one-hit wonders, by the way. You're doing really good.
He's still doing his thing, man.
He's still doing, what is his thing? Not music.
Look.
Entertaining.
Bob, like
Jay-Z helped get him out and immediately regretted that decision. Jay-Z was like, what did I do? It's like his last name is Smurder. What'd you expect? Anyway.
So Nick,
yes.
What city did you grow up in?
LA. Born and
All
raised.
right.
Yeah.
What middle school did you go to?
Middle school, Madrona Middle School, which is in this wonderful suburb of Torrance.
I live in Harbor City, right
nice.
down the street. Yeah, down the street, round the corner.
Yeah.
Okay. So he said, okay. So Madrona, those are those like they're like homes that's over there, like off in there, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the middle school is actually right across the street from the Del Amo Mall.
Okay. Yeah, kind of like swamp, like marshy, swampy.
Right over
yeah,
there.
Yeah. Nah, that's cool. So, while you're going to junior high school, what was like the music that was popping at that time?
Eminem was a big one. You know, 50 Cent, obviously. Dr. Dre. You know, it was like that time. You know, like that kind of era. Guilty Conscience. Trying to think, but because of where I was also listening to like Blink 182.
Yeah.
So it was like
it ain't so. I will not go. Turn the lights
like
out.
it was
Carry me home.
But also great music, you know. But then you had the like Limp Bizkit, and you're kind of like, but they had hits.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, R. Kelly. I feel, even though I shouldn't say it, but listen. He had hits.
Nah, R. Kelly was dope, man. He just had a personal life quirk. You know what I'm saying? But music,
personal life quirk. That is the cutest way to refer to.
It's a very easy
personal life quirk.
Personal life quirk, man.
That is, man. You're a lawyer.
Hey, man. Come on, man.
That's lawyer talk.
No, and the reason I say it like that, because everybody goes hard. Okay, put it this way. If someone who's not from my generation was to go hard on R. Kelly, I could kind of get it or whatever. But from my generation, man, that was like the music, like, man, that was the music to get with a girl, or, if there was slow dances at a club, not, at the last jam at the night of the club, or, whatever, like his music was the romanticism of a generation. You know what I'm saying? He just had issues.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, look, even my generation, I feel like Jeremy's in my generation. I mean, like Space Jam, right? I Believe I Can Fly was the biggest song in the world, I want to say, at one point. You know what I mean? Like they were playing literally everywhere. And then it even had a afterlife, when people were like playing it at funerals or whatever. And it's like, this is such a big record. Like he put his stamp on that time.
R. Kelly was still R. Kellyan up until the point that he went to jail, bro. He was still like, no, he had an album called Black Panties that came out 2014, right before they got back on his ass. And it was a single called Oreo, and the hook went, "I want to lick you like an Oreo." That's R. Kelly ain't never stopped, dog. He was still active up until they was like, "Bruh, come to talk about this again." So
man.
So they
on the kills, man. I'm just saying we gotta embrace him for we understand the other stuff he did, but you just can't wipe off the. You know.
I defend a lot of things. I cannot defend my boy, even though his music was great. I always let it's International Women's Day. I let them have that one. That's the sacrifice. You can have
right,
R. Kelly.
Man. I'm over here, man. I'm probably fighting the wrong battle right now, man. I'm trying to be,
burn him at the stake. I rather defend.
I haven't listened to R. Kelly in a long time, but back then I was playing it.
Yeah, man, shoot, I'll play it right now, but I ain't gonna defend his personal life work. No.
I wasn't defending it. I just said he had.
I ain't saying you defend it. I just like that was clever. That was a clever talk, clever language. I was saying, all I want you to do, hey, you my lawyer too. Jeremy he going through a lot right now. His head is he's trying to focus. In high school, did you ever think your path, or did you think the path that you're on would be the path that you would be on if you graduated, when you graduated back then?
No. When I graduated, the plan was to go into hospitality and like hotel management.
Oh, okay. You're a long way from that. That's cool.
A long way.
Yeah.
Long way from that. So who was the first writer that made you say, you know what, I want to do that?
It has to be Prentice Penny, who is the show of Insecure, which is over now, but it was a brilliant show. You can look up his IMDb or whatever, but we had a conversation, and during the conversation, I was like, and this isn't any discount to him, but I was like, I can do this. Like I can write, like I can figure it out. I can, and just listening to his story, I was like, I think I can do it. And, I just needed to see someone who looked like me doing the thing that I didn't even know was the thing and doing well at it and making a lot of money doing it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I want to do this.
Quick question. So would you say if you had a pie and the pie was 100%,
okay,
how much of it would you say would be a writer's writing talents? And then how much of it would be the writer being able to maintain relationships with co-writers and then executive producers and all that stuff? Because you could be a talented, you could be like the most talented guy in the world, but if you can't get along with nobody, it's kind of
right. Yeah, I mean, one of the first things that I learned, that was, told to me was, listen, you could be the worst at your job, but if people like you and if people like being around you, because in this business, you're working anywhere from 8 to 10 to 12 to sometimes 14 hours, hopefully not that anymore, but you're around these people for a very long time, 5 days out of the week, sometimes 6 days out of the week. So, you want to be able to be someone that people can have a good time with, especially in like a writer's room. It's such a collaborative situation. And I mean, honestly, a great day, we're able to get a lot of work done. We're also able to just laugh and have a good time. And so like, it doesn't really feel like work. And so like now I understand that. Back when I was first starting, when I started off, I was like an office PA, I was just, let me just get in and do what I need to do. But I definitely get it that relationships, I'll say 70, because 70% relationships, 30% talent in writing, because you can teach good writing. And
okay, so I'm speaking from a place of, okay, your agent just calls you and he says, okay, we want you to show up on Monday and just have some coffee and sit down with like 3 other writers, and you guys are going to start writing on this series. Not necessarily managing relationships to rise up as a writer, but I'm saying to really be able to be a team player, you know, like that aspect of it. How important is that part?
I mean, I think it just all depends on the project and just kind of like, because it really is project based, but you should be able to collaborate with other people, you know. I don't know. I mean, I would say it's 50-50 and 50 only in the sense of, because if you are writing with a group or with a team or even just in a writer's room, you know, you're not going to be the perfect writer every single day. You're not going to be the best person every single day. You're going to have some faults, and hopefully the people who are writing with you in that group or whatever, they can pick up the slack, or wherever you're lacking could be their strength. You know what I mean? So you can lean on them for whatever when you need that. So again, you don't have to be the best writer, but if you can work with other people, then it's definitely a plus.
Okay.
That's funny. Oh, what's your favorite documentary?
My favorite documentary?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I watch so many now.
That's
Jesus Christ. I don't know. Just thinking. You know what? The one that I just saw on the Comedy Store, actually. The
really?
Fat Tuesday documentary that was on Amazon.
I still haven't seen that yet, but I thought you were talking about the one that was on Showtime. I was about to say I'm in that one, but no, I'm not in. I was like, oh, thank you. No, but yeah, I got to see that one. I tell that story all the time, and it's good to actually see, you know, the stuff that I mean, I seen the Robin Harris documentary years ago. That was about comedy act theater. But you know, this one, I know it tells the full version of the story and brings it up to date. So I'm actually pretty happy about that.
Yeah, they did a great job with it.
Yeah, I like my favorite documentary is kind of weird, but it was this one called Bigger, Stronger, Faster. It's a porno that no, it's actually a documentary on like steroids. And what I like most about is that it shows that it's not what we think steroids is, and it also showed this guy's journey of how in the 90s we were sold these lies, especially about milk. How if you just drink, like he said, drink your milk, eat your vegetables, and take your vitamins. Like Hulk Hogan, liar. Arnold Schwarzenegger, liar. And you know, this guy, like his heart was broken. Like he could tell, like, wait, and he went from, oh yeah, all of them, like any baseball, like being an American sport, each one of them juiced up gladiators.
Yeah,
all of them talking about eat your vegetables, bro. Chocolate does more for you than anyway. but yeah. Anyway, I like the documentary. I highly suggest that.
Okay, Bigger, Faster, Stronger.
Yeah, it's literally my favorite. I've watched so many documentaries. That's my favorite.
Where'd you see it at?
Believe it or not, first time I seen it was on YouTube years ago. Like I think it was like 2012. I just, you know, just click, you like, what is this? And it was just captivating just because I think documentaries, TV in general, can be very biased. You know what I mean? What I liked about this is, to me, was a very unbiased take on a topic. You know, anyway, that's it.
Nah, that's amen. So, Mr. Perdue, what's the best advice anyone's given you?
The best advice, besides like be yourself, is probably, you know, show up early, leave late.
All right.
Wow. Yeah, that's probably why I'm not successful. Definitely show up late and definitely leave as soon as possible. What's the most legendary moment you've witnessed or that you you've been a part of in any capacity?
Legendary moment. It's an interesting question. I mean, I don't know. I've had some like cool moments, I guess. I mean, back in the day, like I was at a club and like Leonardo DiCaprio was at the table right next to us with just like a bunch of women, and just like watching him like in his element. That was, you know, like up close and personal. It was at this place called Teddy's. Insane. But an actual like legendary moment, I would say for an episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, we put the award-winning Andre Braugher on top of a car, and he was supposed to be like hanging onto the car, you know, like blue screen, green screen, having, you know, like hanging on, right? And it was like 3:00 in the morning, and I'm thinking he's probably not going to do it. And he did it, and he killed it. And we did like a few takes, and I'm standing there. I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't believe. Like I had to like, you know, like kind of take everything in. We got Andre Braugher on the top of a car at 2 a.m. in the morning. It's insane. So yes, I think that's probably one of the most legendary moments that I've been a part of.
So, I got two questions. So one, when they were filming episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, you would actually be on set while they were filming it, like as a writer, you'd be on set also?
Yes. So typically how it works, and not every show is like this, but at least how it worked on Brooklyn, and this is definitely because of our showrunner, Dan Gore. He made sure that whoever the writer was for that episode was able to be on set for that week that we were shooting that episode, because essentially that writer is like the writer on set, you know what I mean? So like, yeah, I mean, you have your director, and then, you know, like your writer, the person who knows the script, or at least that script's the best. So if there's any questions, or if we need a quick line change or this and that, yada yada, you know, they just want me to be
That's
able
smart.
to somebody. So yeah, I mean, he, you know, kind of just ran his room that way. So, you know, especially for like young writers, he would partner you with a established writer, and he would go down, you know, to set and would show you kind of how to do it.
That's dope.
Yep.
That's dope. So if you could give us the short version, what was your process to having a seat on Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
The short version was asking Prentice to take my resume and seeing if there was any job anywhere on the show that I can do. Because I said, listen, I'll do anything.
So real quick, I listen to a lot of motivational speeches and stuff like that. I kind of start my days putting my mind in a cool space, you know, because just deal with what I'm dealing with. So when you asked this guy, when you gave this guy, Prentice, when you gave him your resume, did you think that you would end up writing on a show, or you were just enthused, you were just happy to just do whatever, or like what was your mind state when you, or the energy you had when you gave him the resume?
I was at a point in my life essentially where I was like I need a change. So I was like probably in the highest state of depression I've ever been in my entire life. And so I'm like, I need to get out of this some way, somehow. Just what I was doing, where I was living, everything needed to change. So I sent him my resume, didn't think anything of it. Was nervous when I didn't hear anything back, and I was like, okay, look for another job, and I actually got hired at a completely different place, and I was like supposed to start like that.
You boned out from that.
Yeah. So I, followed up with him, and then he was like, oh, I forgot, sorry. So I sent him my resume one more time, and he emailed it off, got a call the next day for an interview for an office PA position, and this was for season 2. And I went in, did the interview, and just said, all right, well, this is all I can do. So hopefully, they'll hire me. And fast forward, they did. And so I was in the office and in the production office, and I moved up into the writer's room as a writer's PA, writer's assistant, script coordinator. And so I was able to get 2 scripts as a writer, one as a writer's assistant, one as a script coordinator for season 7 and season 8. So did I think that I was going to get there? Once I got in, that was the goal, because I was telling everybody that I want to be a showrunner. Everyone who would listen, it didn't matter what department you worked in. I'm like, look, I want to be a showrunner. I got to figure out, write on this show some way, somehow. Luckily, they kept the show on the air long enough for me to get a shot.
So okay. so you become what was it? And this is the last, and we can move on, but it just intrigues me. It really intrigues me. Like, just, you gave somebody your resume, and from that baton handoff of your resume, it truly led to, launch. I won't say launching your career, but being a pivotal, block of the foundation of your career. So, did you have to write some stuff first, or like did the word have to kind of get around the campfire? Okay, Nick is a pretty decent writer. Like, how did that part happen?
It was luckily, because I was in the writer's room, right?
Okay.
So season 4, I believe, I was a writer's PA. And so I would just, I was around, right? And so, you're able to kind of have conversations with, the showrunners, executive producers, co-producers, like people who have been writing on other shows and who have crazy careers or whatever. So, like that was kind of the first thing. And I was writing a little bit, but I was also still learning, because I didn't take any classes. I didn't, I have books that I read, but it's not the same. But I was also on a show that had scripts that were being produced for television. So I was like, well, I can literally learn on the job. And essentially that's what I was doing. And I was, you're reading every single script and, seeing how stuff is formatted. And, luckily I was able to kind of just ask questions and just listen.
That's what I was talking about. That part that you just discussed, that was the part. Because it's like, okay, I understand you being in a place where you need change or whatever, you put energy or your hopes, your goals, your prayers, whatever behind the resume, boop, you shoot it off. You get this opportunity, but now that you have the opportunity, I just wanted to know, how did you, once you're in the lion's den, okay, now you've made it to a level higher than where you were, right. But now that you're at this higher level, how do you excel, or to the next? And you pretty much explained it. That's dope.
Yeah, you gotta, honestly, you gotta just ask for it. Like, I know it sounds crazy, but it's going to be like, some conversations are going to be uncomfortable, to have with your boss, or to have with someone who, makes a crazy ton of money. And because you're coming at it from this place of like, yes, I want to be able to do this, but I also like want to make some money. Like, let's be honest. Like, I don't want to, make this.
That's a very honest conversation, man. I'm loving it.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, like, luckily I was able to work on the show, because especially we've seen over like this past year, like a lot of people who look like me who look like us we're just weren't financially able to get in assistant positions just because they aren't paying enough. And it hurts. And so it's also that thing of like, look, I know this isn't a big thing to you because you've been doing this for X amount of years, and like the money isn't anything for you, but literally this money can help keep my lights on for like another 3-4 months. You know what I mean? So it's having to have that conversation with yourself to give you enough. Like, you got to just ask for what you want, and the worst thing that they can do is say no. But you know, they could say yes.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just gave me a whole lot more than I thought I was going to. Not that I didn't think I was going to get some stuff. But that's dope.
Yeah, somebody in the comment section wanted to know, what did you think of the show Atlanta?
Atlanta's great. You know, I heard about it first, and you know, because I didn't have cable, so I couldn't watch it. I finally was able to like figure out how to, you know, not steal it, but you know what I mean. And then I was like, well, like, because you know, I'm a fan of Childish Gambino, Donald Glover, and just what he was able to do with that show. Like, it's funny, and it's on point with their themes, and just like things that they're talking about is so real, and it's not like glamorized in any way. It's like, yo, like this is like real shit that's happening, but also we can make this funny, you know. And then like that, not Michael Jackson, but essentially that Michael Jackson episode
that was the one.
Yeah,
that's the one that got me, man. It like everyone was talking about the show, and everyone was going crazy, and I'm always late. Like I'm definitely the person in the crew that's just like 5 years late on something, 6 years late. And then I saw the Michael Jackson, I'm like, oh, that's why everybody's tripping. It's genius. Like it's the acting, the comedic genius, the type of humor that they were having during the show and everything. That was, I caught it too late, man. I wish I could have hopped on. And I just heard that they're not gonna, right now they're not gonna.
Yeah, because but they're like season 3 is supposed to come out or something, right?
Yeah.
And I think season 4 is supposed to be their last season, but they're not gonna do it for like 2 years or something.
They don't need to, man. Every one of the cast became stars. I mean, so they don't have time. That's like the you know what I mean? Like that's like the smallest project, the lowest paying project that is on any one of their schedules. They like, oh, that's right, we gotta, and the whole storyline fell apart. It's just practically a sketch show now. I mean, there's no threat to the. It's like black SNL at this point.
Yeah.
It initially is something, but yeah, these guys, everybody's working. Like, that's the first show that I've seen. Everybody from the main cast became stars, like bona fide stars. Most times it's like one or two. You know what I'm saying? That's just like if everybody in Drew Hill became everybody in Destiny's Child became Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? Like, what was the question? Oh, go ahead.
Honorable mention. I think Southside on HBO Max is probably the next best thing to Atlanta if you want something. I don't want to say similar, but in the same type of vein, because I literally am crying, rolling around on the floor watching this show. They're so funny, they're so brilliant. And again, it's like, this is what's going on in our neighborhood. Like, it's not glamorous, it's not this, it's like, this is just real life. These are real stories, but we were able to make it hilarious.
Tell us about the process of getting was it Hollywood what's it
Black Hollywood Live?
Black Hollywood Live. Like getting that show. Yeah.
I mean, that was like the first thing, probably. So it was I did a podcast back in the day, you know, before podcasts became what they are now. Before there was 2 million podcasts on Apple Podcasts or whatever. And shout out to Ernie and Jesse. That was the name of the podcast. So I would do their podcast, you know, sporadically. And one of the guys on the podcast, Jesse, he was working with AfterBuzz TV because he came from radio. And so, like, again, they were podcasting, but it was live, and then they were just starting to do video. So I got in, I was doing that, again, people liked me, this and that, yada, yada, you know, networking, building relationships. And I was able to kind of be one of the first, I don't want to say producers, but I mean, I guess that's kind of what it is. But there was maybe like 7 of us that really kind of branched off to help build this kind of like sub channel of AfterBuzz TV, which was Black Hollywood Live, which, you know, the goal was to be just a urban entertainment network and really kind of, you know, fill a space, especially back with 2013, 2014, like really fill a space that, you know, like there was nothing there for it. You know, now you have so many different avenues and so many different platforms, you know, for Black urban entertainment. But back then, 8 years ago, you know, there wasn't as much. So we were able to kind of carve out a niche, and we were just out in Hollywood and just getting interviews with people. And it was just a hustle, you know. We were able to kind of build this thing to where the point to where, you know, we were at the Oscars and we were at the Emmys and we were at upfronts and we were doing, you know, like we were this little no-name outlet that kind of became a thing just because of, you know, our hustle and our drive. And really it was just relationships, and we were able to get interviews with some pretty big name people just off of the strength of relationships and no PR and no managers. And we were, you know, like in Twitter, I remember like that was a big thing. I was booking guests just off Twitter. Like I was meeting celebrities and everything. I'm like, yo, this is what we're doing. Come to this podcast. Off Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, we got another question from the comment section. How did you feel hearing your voice on Jeremy Scipio's first comedy album? How'd you feel?
Honestly, after I downloaded it and I was like, oh shit, that's me. I was on Ventura and I was driving. I was like, oh shit, that's me. So yeah, that's funny. That's what it was. That was the feeling. I was like, oh shit. Yeah, I mean, it was dope. And I was, you know, glad to be a part. But Jeremy's should have been a Grammy award-winning comedy.
You're right. Thanks.
I had anything to say about it, but I don't know who won that year, but it should have been.
You know, it's hard to compete because for some reason they consider the Netflix specials audio. So if you release a Netflix special, then they, you know, and I think that year that might have been this year Chappelle won. So, you know, I mean, you know, it's cool getting second place. I ain't tripping. I definitely think I deserve better. Somebody also want to know what you think about all the remakes coming out.
All the remakes, or like
yes.
The reboots of TV shows and stuff.
Yeah, the remakes, reboots, and
I don't like it. I mean, no, I mean it's fine, but it's also, and again, I get it from like the business standpoint, like studio standpoint, because you already have that built-in audience, and you know you're kind of feeding on nostalgia. So I get that part, but there's so much new IP. There's so much new stuff. Like there's you know like so many just like new stories that we haven't seen that are doing well. I mean, look at Squid Games. Squid Games is like, you know what I mean? Was the biggest show on Netflix for how long?
Yeah, I think it broke every record. I don't think anything's coming close to it.
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, like there's like space for new stuff, but these studios just have to actually, you know, want to do it. But again, I get it. It's about money, and they don't want to pay anybody unless, you know, I don't want to say any names, but you know.
Yeah.
They don't want to pay anybody unless you're.
Yeah, I get it. And you know what? I'd have to say that I fell sucker to the advertisement. I still haven't watched the episode. I passed it up. I think on Amazon Prime, but the Wonder Years did look kind of interesting. Yeah, that did with the brother, you know, sliding the brother in there for a little twist. It did look a little interesting. But look at Jeremy. Jeremy is twisted.
What? I'm chilling. I'm just saying, you know, what my biggest question about that, what makes the Wonder Years the Wonder Years. That's all.
I mean, I didn't really watch the Wonder Years. Like
I watched it.
It came on
back in the day. You talking about?
Yeah. I didn't watch it. So
it was about a dude going through, I guess, elementary and going to junior high school and just the stuff you go through.
But what makes a product the Wonder Years?
As in, like,
going through elementary school and going through junior high school and.
Oh, so you mean that means every sitcom is the Wonder Years? Apparently, that's all of them. There's nothing Wonder Years about that show. It's not. If anything, it's like Everybody Hates Chris again. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah, because essentially that's Everybody Hates Chris. And I watched that and I enjoyed that. But no, I mean there's some show, I mean, okay, or like Malcolm in the Middle, because I watched that.
Yes, that's the Wonder Years too.
Right. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like you need to have a good kid character if you're talking about the Wonder Years. But I mean, writing, that's what makes a show like the Wonder Years the Wonder Years. It's
great rebound.
Yeah. Let's be honest. I mean, sure, the acting's great, but the actors can act without a script. So
and you know what? Speaking of it, something else that I got on too late, like literally late, like maybe about 5 years ago, was it the one about Chris Rock?
Everybody Hates Chris.
Yeah. Which that's Wonder Year. Yeah, that's
yeah. My thing is kind of reiterating what Nick was saying. It's just about original concepts, ideas. I understand that the Hollywood machine feels compelled to dig up the past, but I think now when we have this concept that is this new Wonder Years, which is essentially a brand new show, but you have to hide it behind the guise of, that's the same way I felt about Jumanji, like it had nothing to do with the original Jumanji at all. Like, you just call it something new, but the machine feels like it can't sell anything without giving you some old intellectual property name attached to it. That's just the way it is. Or put Marvel Studios presents this new idea. That's the only way you can sell something new, is you put Marvel Studios on top of it.
Okay, real quick. From I have a Disney Plus. I got it late December, coming into January. I started watching it. This is what I will say about things under the Disney moniker. Most of them look really good.
They got money.
Yeah, but they look really good though. I'll say that. Like, the stuff looks really good. Yeah. Like, and when I say really good, like, all the contemporary stuff to me is like Black Panther movie technology level stuff going on, even with the Encantos and my goddaughter, she's all over Encanto. So I had to give it a peep, man. I've looked at so much Encanto stuff, but like all that stuff, Disney is definitely there is something to the Disney, the Marvel, all the things under the Disney umbrella. Now, when it comes to storylines and the writing and all that, that could be questionable.
Yeah, I mean, you're not watching a Marvel movie for storylines, right?
Yeah.
I guess you are. I mean, like, fans are, right? Like, if you're a fan of the comic book, but you're watching for all the action and all the
CGI, the stunts.
You want to see Thor and his hammer, you know what I mean? Like, you Iron Man in a cool car. You want to see the Hulk turn green and smash stuff. Like, you don't care if he says a soliloquy or something. You know what I mean? Like, you don't.
You don't care if he says a little. I'm just waiting for them to do like Marvel Studios presents like Harriet Tubman or something like that. But I mean, that's the only way people watch stuff, is we got Marvel Studios on it. But have you you've heard or you've experienced the hardest person to work with?
Yeah, he ain't gonna do that.
Yeah. No, everybody in Hollywood is great. No, I don't know. I mean, sure, you've heard stories, or we hear stories, I think that's probably one of the nice things about a writer's room, is because it is a safe space, people are able to kind of talk freely, which is nice, especially, like being young and up and coming, you really, again, you're just listening to, okay, you want to stay away from this, stay away from that, or if this is, like you know what to kind of look out for. But I will say people who, are great to work for, which is Mike Shore, producer, of the Good Place fame and Parks and Rec, and wrote on SNL. He was the co-creator of Brooklyn Nine-Nine as well. Dan Gore, people who are showrunners. Well, it's funny. So a lot of people who were actually in the Brooklyn room have become showrunners now. So, I know like a lot of those folks, like Lang Fisher, Would Never Have I Ever on Netflix. Justin Noble, another great guy. He's doing sex lives of college girls. Vanessa Ramos, she has a brand new show, Blockbuster, that's going to be on Netflix. So, all of these people that I've worked with have been great.
You know what? I want to.
So
go ahead. Go ahead, Jeremy. No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, so that means if he didn't say your name and you worked with him, he's talking about you. Next question. No,
I'll say all that media training that he never thought he'd use, he was able to use it on SplendidRadio tonight. Those conversations and him like, I'm never gonna have to use this information and all this stuff. Oh well, it did come in handy. Splendid tonight.
I enjoy my lights working,
Yeah.
I enjoy having food.
Able to drive down Ventura Boulevard and listen to Jeremy Scipio's album.
Right. Gas is $10 a gallon. So I need to be able to keep working, and so I can put gas in my car.
That's funny.
So pivoting, your top 3 rappers.
Top 3 rappers. Oof. Okay. In no particular order, Nipsey Hussle. Black Thought. Probably Snoop, but honorable mention Luda.
Okay.
All right. And I will say, if you get a chance, look up the DJ Premier like remix of Victory Lap, the album.
Is that new?
Oh yes, it's been out for a while. Yeah, that's what I get on the elliptical too. I've been on my elliptical twice. Two times, twice. Yeah,
that might be hard to elliptical too, because all the scratches.
I'll use that excuse, man. I'll take that excuse.
What's the hardest rap bar you can think of off the top of your head?
Horsepower, all this polo on. I got horsepower. No, I'm kidding. When I heard that, I was like, this is so clever. Like, this is so simple, but it's so clever. It's so stupid, but it's so funny. Like, it's so like, I was like, this is great.
Yeah, 2 Chainz is definitely a comedian, bro.
Yeah.
more than a rapper.
No, you know what? Fuck, I don't. Oh my god. Okay. Nelly's first verse, Country Grammar, but I don't remember a particular bar. But fuck. See, now I can't even think about it. But Nelly's there's a section in his first verse in Country Grammar that I thought was just super slick. I guess is great. And then honorable mention Kanye West. on the Lollipop remix.
Okay.
He had a couple of hitters on that. But
all right.
his exact bar, I don't know. Sorry.
So this part of the podcast is kind of called the monkey hustle section, and it was inspired by someone that we knew that got hustled in 2021 on some internet stuff or whatever. So what's the greatest scam that you've ever heard of getting pulled on someone?
Enron.
Bernie.
Or like Herbalife. Honestly, the greatest.
Ooh, good one.
Come on.
Wait a minute.
They're still going.
Go.
They are
Go.
still going.
Right
I know
now.
people that I saw 3 things on Instagram today where people were out there pumping up their stuff, and
Yeah.
That's a pyramid scheme.
Yeah. Oh, and actually, speaking of documentaries, there is a documentary on Herbalife called Betting on Zero. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It's really good. Like, it essentially breaks down the whole company, and people are like, "Oh, it's not a pyramid scheme. It's a pyramid scheme." That's probably the greatest scam. That and like taxes, I guess. I don't know.
all right.
That's dang. You went meta. I like it. He went hard.
Yeah, because I owe. So taxes is a scam.
He said, "What's the biggest scam? This war between Russia and Ukraine."
Shouldn't be $10 a gallon. We don't even get gas from Russia.
Right.
Anyway, that's a whole.
What's the biggest scam? The Mayflower. That's the biggest scam. Thanksgiving. That's the biggest scam. Christmas.
Biggest scam right now plaguing our community. Christianity. If we want to get
Christianity. The biggest scam in America right now, February 29th. That is not a day. We don't need that day. We never need that day. Either give us 31 days in February or none at all. I don't want it. Anyway. Have you ever been scammed?
Probably. Probably like there was one time where so I was definitely scammed, but then I also realized that I was getting scammed, so I stopped the scam from happening, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll tell you what it is. I had a phone that essentially broke, but then I had insurance, so I used my insurance, got a brand new phone, right? And I was like, you know what? I don't want this phone. I'm gonna put it on eBay. So I put it on eBay, tried to sell it, sold it to some guy that was like, oh yeah, I'll get you the money or whatever. And he was like, but you know what? Let's do it off eBay. I'll send it via PayPal. Me being naive, this is my first one. I'm thinking, okay, whatever. Go to the post office, wrap it. It's about to be sent off, right? And I'm just getting these like crazy text messages like, where is it? Where are you? Like, is it in the mail? I'm like, bro, like I literally just mailed it. And he was like, take a picture before you mail it or whatever. And something just said to me, I'm like, this seems weird. So I went back to the post office and I said, hey, can I have my package back?
You a G.
I don't want to send it. And then I texted the guy something or whatever. I was like, hey man, I'm not gonna do this. And he was like, no, I was like, don't call me or don't text me. Like, I blocked you. I'm like, So that was one that I was like, oh, this is a scam. And I turned around and went back to the post office.
Good for you, man. Because they try to tell you, I've done it and I've had it work both ways where they're like, oh, you've given it to us. No, we can't give it, but I've come with enough compassion and a cool demeanor, not on 10, where they'd be like, oh man, go ahead, man. Whatever. Yeah. So yeah, I'm glad it worked out for you, man.
I tell you, these people getting the Instagrams taken by these bots, man. Dog, that's like I've been on the internet since 1997.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see these dudes come long distance. Apparently, everybody, I can't tell you how many people. It really first I thought that, like I don't know, people be like, I got hacked, but people ain't getting hacked. They giving the information away. Like, they be like, I got my account back. And I'll be like, yeah, man, they got you, bro.
Yeah, I mean like anyone who clicks a link and then puts in their information, and I mean, like, look at the email, right? Like, if it's not from whatever it's supposed to be from, then delete it.
Well, they get more creative, and they're appealing to people's especially in this time, because everybody, they got some crypto, everybody wants from crypto to NFTs, and everybody want to be on the latest thing, so they know they can appeal to that sense of greed or that come up, that private come up. But they don't know. I never come up. That's why they'll never get my account. Because I'd say the worst one.
People don't want to work for it as much anymore. Everyone wants it right now. You know what I mean? Like, they don't want to let it cook. Because you need to let it cook for, this is for whatever you want to do with music, comedy, writing, whatever. Like all this overnight, or even investments in money. Like, you got to let it cook. Like, sure, you can get a quick flip, but that's not realistic, and it's not going to last. Like, there's no substance to it. It's very fleeting, and you got to keep trying to do this, this quick flip, when it's like, if you just put the work in now, if you do whatever you want, if you need to do now for 10 years, then you'll be able to sustain it, so that when these lean years come, you can still fall back on an actual, you know what I mean? Yeah. Does that make sense? Or am I just hyped? No, I'm sorry.
No, I mean, if you got a hustle, that you can build off of. I mean, I'd say it's fortunate to have that. A lot of people don't, and that's why they look for these alternative sources of income. But I say the worst one was that freaking circle game that came out when around the time everybody was getting the stimulus checks. They appealed to people saying, oh man, this is the reason why Black people don't have anything, because we don't invest in each other, and here's your chance to invest in. It was like a suit, they call it a susu or a circle game, and they even say like, oh, you're a fire symbol, and you turn to water, and then from the water you turn into earth. And I can tell you how many times somebody explained it to me, and I was like, yeah, that don't make sense. But it just makes sense. I'm like, but what are you buying? They just like, yeah, you invested. I said, in what? It's like, and it grows, because basically you give a group of people, I think the smallest can be 4, but it can be up to, they got real big. You give, everybody gives like $1,000, anywhere between 200 to 1,000 for that first thing. And then over a course of, they said the more people that give, the more payout. So they'll, like, say if it starts off 8 people, then the next level, it'll be 4 people, they get paid out. And then you put back in for some reason, whatever reason, and then you move to the middle, and then 2 people get paid out. And then you put back in.
I'm not the sharpest tool, man, but if it take that much talking and explaining and all that stuff, man, I'm man enough. And man, one of the greatest things I've learned in the last 2 years, help with some life coaching and some getting my life together, let my ego go. I can say to somebody, man, your intention is great, but everything you're saying to me is so beyond my comprehension that, you know what I'm saying, it would probably be.
It wasn't. It was just as it was just as stupid as it sounded. I'm trying to tell you that people was getting robbed. They was getting robbed with emojis. Yeah. That's what was going on. It was getting robbed.
And because like I've been around enough multi-level marketing pyramid schemes to know a pyramid.
Marketing pyramid schemes.
You know what I mean? So like I've done the Cutco. I've done the.
I did Cutco.
I did Cutco. Oh god, vector marketing.
I've seen again the primary. You know what I mean? Like the Avon. I've seen it all. It's all the same.
That's funny.
This there's not even a product. There's not even. So I'm giving you my money for what?
Real quick. What was wrong with Cutco?
I mean,
it's the same. It's like Herbalife. It's pyramid.
Yeah, you bring people in and you come up. Right. I mean, I did it for a while. I made a little bit of bread and I got some Cutco knives in the kitchen now.
Right. No, I have Cutco knives in the kitchen too. They work fine. They're fine. But I don't want to be going door to door with a bag of knives. Like what? That's crazy. I was 17 going door to door with a bag of knives saying, hey, would you like to see my knives? Try and make some money.
But you know the funny thing about it? That helped set my fire to other endeavors. You know what I'm saying? It lit my fire and got me focused on other endeavors, and I was able to push it forward. Real quick, this is a good one. Where were you when you heard that we were going on lockdown, and what was the first thing that ran through your mind?
I was so I was on hiatus essentially. So I was already home. And then when I heard that we were going on lockdown, I was like, all right, well, so like nothing really changed for me majorly, if that makes sense. And then I was, I was able to work from home as well. So it didn't really affect me too much in the sense of I'm used to being home for extended periods of time, just because, that's kind of how the entertainment industry works, is like, if you're on a show that, has enough episodes, then you can have a break and then next season you'll be fine. You know what I mean? So I wasn't scared of it, but I was kind of like, hopefully, it'll be like 2 weeks or something. It'll be like a month. It'll be fine, what we all thought, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really fun time period. That's crazy that's like almost over. Who would be in your dream verses?
My dream verses?
Yeah.
It would probably have to be Jay-Z versus no, you know what? Let me take that back, because Jay-Z's not but obviously this versus cannot ever happen. But I think Michael Jackson and Prince.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
That would probably be because
who
concert, you know what I mean?
Who you got winning?
Who do I have winning?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't know.
I can tell you.
It depends on how much. No, I don't want to say. It depends on how much propofol Michael had. No, I'm kidding.
That's fucked up.
I think they both was on that for real.
Yeah, I mean, they was, no, Prince.
Yeah.
I think Prince.
I would say Prince only because he played all the instruments on his first album, man. He played every instrument, man.
Man, I wish I could. I would love to bet y'all on
that Michael
almost anything now. No, you guys like losing money, because Michael. First of all, they actually have a clip. James Brown.
I've seen that.
I saw that.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yo, that's exactly what would happen in real life. And now, if they did, Prince don't know how to keep his clothes on long enough to do a whole verses. I'm trying to tell you, Mike was the ultimate performer.
Walking around stage.
Mike was the ultimate performer, bro. Yo, Prince lit it up in the crowd, dog. Yeah.
Hey, so on the last one, Nick, where do you see social interaction going in the next 2 years?
Social interaction?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's gonna be back to where we were pre-pandemic. Did that make sense? sense, right? That's where we're talking like going out like to bars and to like clubs and to restaurants and this and that. Yeah. In 2 years, I mean, I think that's just where we're gonna get to, and you know, it's gonna suck for some people, and it won't suck as much for the rest of us. So.
All right,
I like the way you put that. That was kind of cold.
Hey man, I feel like we got a glimpse inside of the other side tonight. You know what I'm saying? Nick gave us a slightly filtered, you know, view of that other side, that other part. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is fun, guys.
Nah, that's dope. So do you have anything coming up that you want to shout out? Anything going on?
No. I don't know. I mean, I'm actually going to be, you know, like getting back into stand-up. I used to do stand-up way back in the day. So, you know, I'm writing jokes and getting back to it. So, you know, hopefully I can get some shows and, you know, start opening for Jeremy Scipio here when he decides to go on tour. So whenever you go on tour, Jeremy, Nick Perdue is available to open for you.
Hey man, let's go, bro. You know, we you know, I was thinking about legendary nights. I was thinking about that one night that what was it at the Zen Lounge with it was me, you, I think Nick Carthen and his wife, and then Justin.
That's his soul, man.
Justin Hires.
Oh my, yeah. That night was I'm upset now that there was no video, but
come on, bro.
We all had great sets, and the promoter was so upset because we were all just dirty, and I was just like, fuck it, we're just, you know, like, it had to be a clean show. Nah.
Justin, I think Justin Hires was there. He wasn't even booked. He was like, yo, talk to him, see if I can get outside. Talk to him, like, yo, all right, cool. He goes up and, you know, he said, we all cuss to a degree. I think you was the first person. He was like, hey.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Right? But
we
made it. Justin get up there. He said, I think Justin was like, man, nigga, nigga, right? And then dude was like, hey, man, you can't say nigga. He was like, what? Nigga. Yo, he's like, y'all gotta get out. He got kicked out.
Oh, man.
And so this was prime time TV. Justin High. This is what like season 1 of Rush Hour on.
No, yeah, Rush Hour. Yeah. Season, that was all it was. It was he. I think he had just got back from shooting it, and he just was like, He can tell me what to do. But
you know who I think I am.
That was funny, yo. But anyway, that being said, absolutely, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. As soon as something, you know, I'd say got my calendar up here. But yeah, I got you, bro. Let's get it.
Fill your calendar for the both of us.
Yeah, I'm actually currently on hiatus. I don't know if you heard, but yeah, I got you, bro. Hell yeah.
Nah, dope. So what are your socials, Nick?
Everything is the Nick Perdue, THENICKPERDUE.
Tight. Anything you want to shout out, Jeremy, other than your queen?
Oh, yeah. I'm at Venice Underground tomorrow. Where's that? It's at this place called Killer Shrimp in Marina Del Rey. Definitely highly suggest you come to that. That show's going to be huge. I haven't done this show in like 2 years, but or 3, whatever, pre-pandemic, but it was one of the best shows I like in the city, period. I'm not lying when I say that. What else is going on? I think that's it. I think I'm at the Comedy Store this weekend, but you already know that. That's it. Follow me at Jeremy Comedy. I'll put everybody's for my chat. Love you, chat. You guys rock. Keep up the good work, and I'll put everybody's a link to everybody's IG on in the chat. So please follow everybody.
Cool. Well, this has been Splendid Radio on Pharcyde TV. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Jeremy. Peace.